Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Sage Gaming. After the positive reception that I've received from my previous countdown to launch video, I've decided to create 3 more videos before the release of Starfield in a way to look back on Bethesda games and see how far we've came since Starfield. I will be following the same formula as my previous countdown launch video, which if you haven't seen, I'll link in the end of the video, go check it out. But in this video, I'm focusing on Fallout 3, my very first Bethesda game that I have ever touched. This game holds such a special place in my heart, and it is my favorite Fallout game to date. But I also want to throw out there that New Vegas is an amazing game as well. I just hold more bias towards Fallout 3 due to it being my first, and I just love the atmosphere that Fallout 3 has compared to other Fallout games. Now, just like before, grab a Nuka-Cola, relax, and avoid the radiation as I dive into some of my opinions, thoughts, and lore behind Fallout 3. Character creation in Fallout is a simple but rewarding experience for anyone that knows exactly how they want to build their character. The reason I say that is because of your special skills that you can choose to put points towards. You have a certain amount of points to put into each acronym of the word special. S for strength, P for perception, C for charisma, I for intelligence, A for agility, and L for luck. They're all pretty self-explanatory except for agility, which gives you more AP or action points the higher you put your special points towards. Action points are used in VATS or Vault Tech Assisted Targeting System. Anyway, something I've always liked when it comes to creating a character in Fallout 3 is how different that you can actually create your character in these builds. For me personally, I've really liked putting luck into a lot of my previous Fallout characters because it helps me find more caps, more ammunition, and pretty much a lot of different items as I'm scavenging throughout the wasteland. Another thing that I just simply love in Fallout 3 is that Bethesda tried to shape what your father looked like based on what your character looked like when creating him, or her. Although the character creation is very simple in this game compared to other Bethesda games, except for Oblivion of course, you can morph a lot of the character's facial features. Or you can make a monstrosity, none of which the wasteland has ever seen before. Probably even enough where a super mutant would be hesitant to approach. Moving on to weapons and armor, or attire, that I like using in Fallout 3. I'm always wearing an iteration of power armor or the Vault 101 suit. Whether it's the original Vault suit you leave with, or the armored Vault 101 suit that you can get from Maura Brown from Craterside Supply, which you can unlock either by completing the Quest Wasteland Survival Guide, where Maura Brown takes advantage of your character being a sheltered moron. Off topic, but I love the option when you talk to her, where you can say, you wonder how they changed the huge light bulb in the main room. This is enough proof that she takes advantage of the Lone Wanderer, since no sane person would be willing to do the things she wants you to do. Shame on you, Maura Brown. Moving on to weapons that I love in Fallout 3, of course, is the Chinese assault rifle, the hunting rifle, the minigun, the plasma rifle, and the Fat Man. Some honorable mentions would also be the grenades, 10mm pistol, and the laser rifle. Or, if you played Fallout 3 enough, the Wazel rifle. I also liked where your weapons actually had a degradation condition the more you used them. So, you either had to sacrifice weapons that were the same as the one you were using to repair it. Of course, the higher your repair skill, the more efficient using this method worked, or you could pay someone caps to repair them for you. Next topic, followers in Fallout 3. If you say anyone except for Dogmeat, you're a liar. I'm just kidding, but seriously. If you don't like Dogmeat, what is wrong with you? Okay, Dogmeat can, of course, get in your way, and he can also get very annoying when he blocks you in a doorway. But what Bethesda companion hasn't blocked you in a door before? Let's be honest. Dogmeat is very useful because he growls when there are enemies nearby, and he's also great at attracting the attention of enemies while you dump loads of ammo into them. However, you have to be very careful, because followers can die in this game, because you actually feel the stakes if your follower dies. I actually hope this is a feature that Bethesda brings back in Starfield, and something else that was really cool in Fallout 3 that Bethesda lets you do is that you can have followers, such as a human or super mutant, as well as a robot or animal companion at the same time. Speaking of super mutant followers, this leads me to my next one, Fox. Fox is such an interesting character that was locked inside of a medical containment room inside of Vault 87. Fox was one of the few super mutants that retained his intelligence after the effects of the Forced Evolutionary Virus, or FEV for short. Due to his mutation, Fox was able to stay alive for 200 years. 200 years of containment is absolutely insane. But unfortunately, Fox suffered from memory loss. The reason that Fox was able to keep sane and keep his intelligence up to par was thanks to a terminal that he was able to access that contained history books, literature, science, and more. The other super mutants inside of Vault 87 realized what he was using the terminal for and didn't like that, since they saw him as an outsider and destroyed the terminal. Using the terminal, Fox found a name that a man once used where he was willing to fight and die for what he believed in, and that is how he named himself. This next topic I'm very passionate about, and it's going to be a little longer than the other ones, and it is some of my favorite stories within Fallout 3. 3 of these stories being Tenpenny Tower, and the quest that goes along with it, as well as the main story, which I'm going to choose one specific one instead of covering the entire story, and Trouble on the Home Front. I will try and make this short and sweet because I can talk about these quests all day. But starting off with Tenpenny Tower. You have the option starting out when you're in Megaton to blow up the atomic bomb that resides in the center of town. Or if you want to be a good Samaritan like myself, you can disarm it. Either way, you can still gain access to Tenpenny Tower. The only difference is if you blow up the atomic bomb in Megaton, you place a detonator on the bomb and meet Mr. Burke, the character that gave you the detonator to blow up the atomic bomb, in Tenpenny Tower. You then proceed to watch the destruction of Megaton from the view of one of the top balconies in Tenpenny Tower. You will lose a lot of karma in this process, but if you decided to do this, you're already planning on being a bad person, let's be honest. Leading to the quest that I think is so controversial and it's still tied to Tenpenny Tower called, you guessed it, Tenpenny Tower. The conflict for this quest is that the residents that live inside of Tenpenny Tower's walls live in luxury and safety. But there are a group of ghouls. Also, for anyone that's watching that doesn't know what a ghoul is, they're people that were affected by radiation caused by the detonation of atomic bombs, and it permanently damaged their skin by making them look decayed and rotted. But they have an increased lifespan due to the mutations caused by the radiation. Anyway, people see them as outsiders since they look so horrifying compared to a normal person. So, the residents in Tenpenny Tower no longer see them as humans and think of them as feral ghouls. Feral ghouls are another step beyond normal ghouls, because feral ghouls have had their brain completely damaged by the radiation to where they attack anything on sight, hence feral. Although the ghouls in this quest are capable of normal conversations and rational thought, in this quest though, you can choose to convince the residents to take the ghouls in, attack the people within Tenpenny Tower so the ghouls can take over, or kill the group of ghouls that are wanting to live with the residents of Tenpenny Tower. Being the goody two-shoes that I am, I disarmed the bomb in Megaton, still accessed the inside of Tenpenny Tower, and convinced the residents to take the ghouls in so they all lived happily ever after. Or so I thought. Bethesda had other plans. See, this is my issue with this quest. If you convince the residents to live with the ghouls, although they're hesitant, you gain karma, and you think you did the right thing. But you didn't. Because if you return sometime after, you can find that Tenpenny Tower is empty, except for ghouls. If you head to the basement, there you can find the bodies of the residents with a few ghouls standing over their bodies. When you try and talk to the ghouls to see what happened, they're short with you and basically tell you to mind your own business. So, this quest has no good ending whatsoever, even though you gain good karma for thinking you're doing the right thing. Come on, Todd Howard, my good moral compass can't be satisfied with an ending like that. Moving on to the main story quest, I'm only going to discuss, like I said, one favorite part of the main story. But some of you have already probably guessed it. Tranquility Lane. This was my favorite main story quest in Fallout 3. The reason being is I love the aspect of the simulation. When you go to locate your father, you realize that he went to Vault 112 to locate a piece of equipment known as the Garden of Eden Creation Kit, or the GEC for short. When you arrive, you notice that there are these capsule-like units with people inside. Under further investigation, you realize that the people inside are inside of the simulation and you can't pull them out. So, what do? Well, go in, of course. Nothing bad could happen, it's just a simulation, right? Wrong. You wake up in a black and white simulated world known as Tranquility Lane, where all the people inside of those capsule units are stuck inside the simulation, and they actually think the simulation is real. Except for a few people. You can interact with the people that are living inside Tranquility Lane, and the more you talk to the people within, you realize that something isn't right. So you will eventually talk to a little girl named Betty. Betty is a mean little girl that wants you to torment the people within Tranquility Lane by teasing, insulting, home-wrecking, and killing. Or, if you want to skip all of this, you can go to this abandoned house and trigger the failsafe that will end the simulation by running a command that has soldiers arrive and kill the residents of Tranquility Lane, creating an exit for you and your father. By the way, your father is also simulated as a dog, so he cannot talk in the simulation, and he's near the playground, right where Betty is. Right before you leave, you actually realize that Betty isn't just a little girl. Betty is being simulated as a scientist that worked with the GEC to create the simulation that you're in. His name? Dr. Braun. Braun is angry that you ruined his simulation and that you left him there by himself, since he cannot leave. The quest is so good at giving you this eerie feeling the entire time you play it, and it's truly one that I will never forget. The last one I'd like to discuss, Trouble on the Home Front. It's the quest where you can go back to Vault 101, the vault you escaped at the beginning of the game, to deal with the drama and issues that were caused by you leaving earlier in the game. It will shape how the quest turns out, but no matter what, you're forced to leave the vault, which makes me an avid Amada hater. Come on, because you can help her and keep everyone alive and make everything perfect, but she still makes you leave. Why? Why? So much for being a childhood friend, Amada. But going back to this quest, it has a bit of nostalgia because you get to go back to the place where your character grew up. And I also love Vault 101. And it's really cool to see the chaos transpire within the vault and going back to fixing the issues, no matter how you handle it. I also love the confrontations with everyone, and they're very interesting. Plus, there are a lot of options where the quest can play out. One of my favorite things about Fallout 3 would have to be the karma system. Within Fallout 3, the karma system was something that shaped the opinion of what people thought of you throughout the wasteland. People notice the actions that you take, whether they're good or bad, and sometimes characters will either compliment you or denounce you based off your actions and decisions. For example, if you disarm the atomic bomb in Megaton, your father will mention it and tell you how proud he is of you. However, if you blow up Megaton, your father is very upset and realizes you're just a little psychopath that enjoys blowing up large amounts of junk and metal for no reason. The karma system has certain tiers that you can gain or lose. You can view the status of your karma within your Pip-Boy to see what the world thinks of you. Doing any good deed will grant you karma, while doing anything bad will have you lose karma. I just like the idea of your actions shaping the world's opinion on who you are as a player, and I really hope there is something similar to this in Starfield. My closing thoughts and final verdict on Fallout 3. Of course, like I said, Fallout 3 being my favorite title, I find this game very replayable. I say this because even though I did enjoy Fallout 4, I love Fallout 3. They just didn't add the same mechanics into Fallout 4, and they took the karma system out, which I'm not really sure why they did that, which originally made me very upset, but I kind of got over it, because there are a lot of things that they did add in Fallout 4 that I really enjoyed. And it's still a very good game in my opinion, just not as good as Fallout 3. Just like any other Bethesda game, I get lost in this game. The wacky side characters, the blood and gore makes the world of Fallout 3's combat enjoyable, the stories are interesting, the followers are really cool, and the game is brutal if you're not familiar with it. If you haven't tried Fallout 3, I highly recommend it before Starfield releases, and it's on Game Pass. Play it. It's such an enjoyable experience. You will not regret it. Just have to look past the graphics, because it did not age very well, and it came out in 2008. These are some of my favorite things about Fallout 3. What are some of your guys' favorite moments, guns, characters, or quests within Fallout 3? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, subscribe for more. I will post 2 more videos like these breaking down more of my favorite things about Oblivion and Fallout 4 before Starfield releases. Also, before I go, I just wanted to thank everyone that had watched the previous Countdown to Launch, where I talked about Skyrim heading into Starfield's release date. I really appreciate the kind words that everyone had said about the video, and I'll gladly make the rest of the series like I had mentioned if the video did well. And it exceeded my expectations. I just wanted to thank everyone for the time they took out of their day to watch my video. Anyway, in the meantime, thanks for watching everyone, and I will see you guys in the next video.